What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Before we get started, just want to give a congratulations to Tony Bennett. He announced his retirement after a very long career with the University of Virginia. Of course, they had a few times in the tournament they were upsetted. Had a couple of tough first-round exits over the last few years. Obviously, years ago, you losing to UMBC, a 16 seed. But they also did win a national championship a couple of years ago. He had a great long career there, and he announced his retirement last week. He named the assistant head coach, Ron Sanchez, as his replacement. He gets the promotion. Virginia's not very good, not what they once were. We're barely in the tournament last year. You got demolished in the first four, I think, by Colorado State. I think everyone was like, oh, Colorado State's going to go on a run. They thrashed Virginia, and then he loses. Also in the first round by a lot. Like, what happens? Like, oh, well, Virginia just sucks. It was them or maybe somebody else who ended up going on the run or something. But Virginia, they're not great. He honestly got out there at the right time because that team is not very good anymore. But he had a great career, and congratulations to him. And also, a couple of extensions. One in hockey. Dallas Stars goalie Jake Ottinger gets an 8-year, $66 million extension. Ottinger's one of the best goalies in the league. He's been phenomenal in the playoffs the last couple of years for the Dallas Stars. Definitely part of the elite group of goalies in the league. I'm sure Igor won't be too happy that another goalie gets a contract before him, but he also is asking for $11 million a year. So, we're still working on that. But Ottinger now has his bag. He gets his bag. Dallas locks him up. And the New Orleans Pelicans, on the basketball side, extend Trey Murphy 4 years, $112 million. Murphy's growing to a really solid 3-and-D wing for them, and they lock him up long term. All right, and there'll be playoffs. The World Series is set on the American League side. The New York Yankees finish off the Cleveland Guardians, defeating them in 5 games. You win Game 4 as well as Game 5. You win both those games. Crazy Game 5. Cleveland comes back and it was a back and forth game. Well, Game 4, Cleveland came back and tied it at 6 after being down 6-2. Then extras, the Yankees tack on 2 runs to go up 8-6, and they hold in the bottom half of the inning. And then in Game 5, it was 2-0 Cleveland early on. The Yankees tied at 2 games apiece. But then in extra innings, Juan Soto 2-run homer in the top of the 10th. And actually, I think it was a 3-run homer in the top of the 10th for him. 5-2 when Yankees shut the door in the bottom half. They get 6 outs from Luke Weaver. Yankees win 5-2. They advance to their first World Series in 2009. I'm not sure we saw, but Dodgers do beat the Mets. Mets were able to hang around in Game 5, win 12-6 to push the series back to LA. But in Game 6, Dodgers win 10-5. They jumped on that Met star, Show Manaea. Manaea gets just 6 outs. I think he allowed like 4 or 5 or 6 runs. He ended up getting tagged, charged with 6 runs. Phil Maton comes in and just gets blasted. Yeah, he was horrible all playoffs. I'm not sure why they Mendoza even went to him. I would have probably went to Reed Garrett, Stanek. Hell, I would even consider going to Severino, who was going to be the Game 7 star, but you have to get to Game 7 first. Maybe even Kodai Senga, who ended up coming in the 7th inning. He actually went to Diaz in the 4th and the 5th, which the time was like wild, but looking back, they probably kind of had to. Tough way to go out, obviously, for the Mets, but they had a great year, wild year. You get off to a horrible start. You were 22-33 to open up the year. One of the worst teams in the league at the end of May. You have Jorge Lopez in loss to the Dodgers. Throws his glove into the stand as he's being taken out. Or actually, after he was thrown out of the game. He didn't pitch well. Then after the game, said to the media, "It's the worst team. I'm on the worst effing team in the league." He gets DFA'd. And then just, everything that happened, all of a sudden the Mets bring out Grimace throughout the first pitch, this purple blob, like the McDonald's sort of kind of mascot. And then all of a sudden the Mets just turn it around. They get hot, and, they call up Jose Iglesias, a career journeyman, backup infielder. And the guy he writes a song. Guy's a baseball player, but turns into a musician part time all of a sudden. Well, it ends up being a banger. Decides to use it as his walk up and just goes viral in the Mets clubhouse and all across Mets Nation. And on top of that, Iglesias ended up having a great season. He hit 300 and was a Gold Glove caliber defender at second, third, and shortstop. So just incredible year for him. And you had the Hawk Tour girl. throw out the first pitch, and that energized the Mets. In Game 5 against the Dodgers, look, the Mets were down, and all of a sudden the Rizzler, one of these internet sensation kids, just shows up at the game, and the Mets win. Just a crazy year. A lot of weird ass stuff happened. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, the last few weeks seemed like a movie. Going up against that Braves from a doubleheader, needing to win one. As a Mets fan, you think, oh, the Braves do this to us every year. We're gonna get swept, and then just that incredible game in the last game day of the season. The doubleheader. Obviously, you had to reschedule because of the hurricane down south, and just crazy game. Mets win 8-7. Francisco Lindor to go ahead home run in the 9th inning, and just ups and Milwaukee Brewers. P. Alonso, who couldn't hit water if he was in the ocean that last couple of weeks before that, hits the go ahead home run in the 9th inning. Beating the Phillies with the late game magic at game after game, and then obviously full of the Dodgers, but it was still a great year. Yankees Dodgers World Series. That's great for baseball. I'm sure Rob Manfred and the MLB executives are licking their lips. For every other fan, besides the Yankees and Dodgers fans, are just like, are you kidding me? This is disgusting. But Yankees Dodgers game 1 of the World Series will be Friday night in LA at 8:08 Eastern Time. Garrett Cole gets game 1 for the Yankees. Dodgers are not quite sure yet. We'll see where they go. Also, you did a bullpen game in Game 6, so Game 5 was Friday? All right, so Game 5 starter was Yamamoto, so he'll be on more than full rest. So we'll see where they go with the pitching matchup. But and apparently the Yankees might be adding Nestor Cortez onto their playoff roster. He's been hurt, but he overall had a decent year, and he probably deserves to at least be maybe a lowman out of the bullpen who maybe could start in the pinch in the series. So I'm hearing he could very easily be on their roster. But keep your eyes on that. The World Series will be the New York Yankees against the Los Angeles Dodgers. All right, let's recap Week 8 in college football. On Friday night, number 2 Oregon beats Purdue 35-0. Dylan Gabriel for 280 and 2 touchdowns. He's had a phenomenal year, 21 of 25 as well. Number 13 BYU gets past Oklahoma State 38-35. Their quarterback, I think his name is Rezloff, 218 and 2 scores. He did enough to win. BYU 7-0. They look really good. Saturday's action. Number 5 Georgia with a small upset over number 1 Texas 30-15. Quinn Ewers didn't look right, just 25-43 for 211, them two touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Georgia running back Trevor Etienne. Obviously, his brother Travis is plays for Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a big win for Georgia. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, you lost to Alabama. You slide to the 5th spot in the rankings, but big win over the University of Texas for Georgia. And number 6 Miami beats Louisville 52-45. Incredible game. Cam Ward balls out. Back and forth game. Miami pulls it out to get to 7-0. And Tennessee with an upset over Alabama. For the second time in 3 years, they beat Alabama 24-17. They came in ranked 11th. Alabama came in ranked 7th. Alabama already has 2 losses. Did not think we'd see that. I'm sure the fans are not happy with Kalen DeBoer, but big upset win for Tennessee. Jalen Monroe struggles. Just 25-45, 239, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Did not play well. I'm telling you, I don't think he's that good. He's not that guy. Number 8, LSU beats Arkansas 34-10. You had UCF falling to number 9, Iowa State 30-35. Iowa State escapes with a win in that one. Number 10, Clemson gets past Virginia 48-31. Kate Klubnik 25-35, 308, 3 touchdowns. He struggled last year. Wasn't super high enough, but he's had a good year this year, especially since that first game of the year where they came out and lost, and everyone was bashing, myself included, Devil Sweeney for not using the transfer portal. Number 12, Notre Dame beats Georgia Tech 31-13. They take care of business. Number 14, Texas A&M beats Mississippi State 34-24. Number 16, Indiana beats Nebraska 56-7. Just thrashed them. Dylan Raiola, 3 picks in the game. Looks like Pat Mahomes, but on the field, it's certainly not Patrick Mahomes. Indiana, though, is playing really well. 7-0. Number 17, Kansas State over West Virginia 45-18. Number 19, Missouri beats Auburn 21-17. They sneak by. Number 21, SMU over Stanford 40-10. Number 22, Illinois beats number 24, Michigan 21-7. Then the third loss for Michigan. This is obviously not the same team. You knew it. Obviously, you lose a top-tier head coach in Jim Harbaugh, and obviously you lose your quarterback and your running back, and your top receiver, and just pieces on the defense, pieces on the after line. This was bound to happen. They were going to regress, and they did. Tuttle 208 and a pick in loss. Illinois picks up the win. And you had number 20 Army over East Carolina, 45-38. Army 7-0. They are ranked. Number 25 Navy, who was also ranked, steamroll Charlotte, 51-17. Very cool to see both Army and Navy looking really sharp, both undefeated on the season. All right, so I'm going to save AP rankings for tomorrow's show. So we're going to finish off with an NFL recap of Week 7. We're going to go through the games. Obviously, we have the Monday Night Football doubleheader to still come tonight. Obviously, Thursday Night Football, Broncos beat the Saints 33-10. That was just an ugly game. That Saints, they are just dreadful. I don't know how Dennis Allen still has a job. I legitimately do not know. I don't understand. The guy is horrible. He is the worst coach in the NFL right now. I don't know how he makes it through the year, honestly. I get they have injuries. You're starting quarterback Derek Carr's out. You're down a couple receivers. You're also down Taysom Hill. Your tight end receiver flex, whatever you want to call him. But my God, that team is dreadful. Just dreadful. But Denver coaxed by him. Denver's 4-3. It's weird. They're not good. Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Sean Payton. Bo Nix hasn't played very well as a rookie. They don't have a ton of weapons. That offensive line is terrible, but the defense has definitely stepped up, especially in that secondary and that pass rush. And they've gotten a pretty easy schedule. Plus, you had a big win against Tampa early in the year after a tough start. So they're 4-3 and Saints are 2-5. Won the game, Jaguars over the Patriots, 32-16. That game was as bad as you thought it was going to be. Lawrence, he was okay. That Patriots team, they are really bad. Drake May looked really good. I will say there for 280 and a couple touchdowns, or 230 and a couple touchdowns, something like that. He looked really, really good. But my God, that run game is just brutal. They cannot run the ball. The receiving core is terrible. That line is terrible. That defense did not play well at all. I was thinking about this. You know how there's teams in the NFL a lot of times we say, oh, they're a quarterback away. They're a quarterback away. We thought the Jets were when they got Aaron Rodgers. Obviously didn't work out. We thought Denver was when they got Russell Wilson. Obviously that didn't work out. If you've seen this before, the Rams in a sense were kind of a quarterback away. Jared Goff, wasn't the player he was now. But with the Rams, you swap him for Matthew Stafford, and obviously they end up winning a Super Bowl. That whole thing. The Patriots might be the absolute opposite. They have the quarterback. Drake May is going to be a great quarterback. They have literally nothing else. They can't run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, that was a massive overpay at the time. Anyway, I don't think he's a 3-down back. I'll take him maybe as a complimentary back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a big back, so he can maybe 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 down around the goal line. He can convert for you, but he's, to me, not a 3-down back. Tony Gibson definitely isn't 3-down back. He's, again, fine complimentary back. A little scat back and catch the ball, can return some punts. Other than that, nothing really there. Obviously, Jermichael Hasty is just a death piece. Their receiving core is terrible. Demario Douglas is just okay. Polk is still a rookie. Hasn't looked great. Javon Baker hasn't even played. The other rookie that they drafted. Kendrick Bourne has only played a couple of games. He's coming off an injury. The tight ends are okay. Hunter Henry is okay. But like Austin Hooper, it's been washed for 3 years. That offensive line is terrible. They got guys out. They're just terrible. That defense, it's not great, honestly. They have no pass rush, especially with trading away Matt Judon to the Atlanta Falcons. They can't stop the run. This is what happens. You have a Grogan middle linebacker, Juwan Bentley, injured. You think you have a guy in that D-line. It was also hurt. Christian Barmore has a heart issue. He's not playing this year. So they're just big hole in the middle of the defensive team is just gashing them up the middle. The secondary, Christian Gonzalez is a great young corner, going to be great for a long time. I like Kyle Duggar, the safety. Over the rest of the secondary isn't all that great. Jonathan Jones is a fine slot corner, nothing more. Also, not loving that coaching staff. Gerard Mayo, I said at the time, you cannot look me in the eye and said that he was the best candidate for that job. The guy was a linebackers coach. Walks off the field as a player. Was a linebackers coach for 4 years. Like, oh yeah, let's make him the head coach for an organization that just came off a 20-year dynasty. Is in uncharted territory. You're drafting a new quarterback. All these changes. No, absolutely not. I'll take him on my staff. Maybe as a linebackers coach. Maybe as a defensive coordinator. I'll take him on my staff on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe. But I don't really think it's a head coach. Obviously, the team isn't very good. It's first year, so maybe I don't think they will let him go after the season. I'm sure they'll give him at least another year, but No love. And Alex Van Pelt, I don't know. He was obviously handicapped with Jacoby Brissett as his quarterback. He was not, the offensive line he was given wasn't not the one he had, the lines he had in Cleveland for the most part when he was the offensive coordinator over there. But he really hasn't been great. And then, just overall, that really isn't a great staff. They're just a horrible team. And they could easily finish with the number 1 pick. I mean, there's a couple teams kind of in that circle. New England, Jacksonville's still in that circle. Even New Orleans, definitely Carolina, Cleveland, even the Jets might be up in there again this year. Tennessee, there's a lot of bad teams, but New England might top them all, at least in the AFC, because, God, that team is just dreadful. But Seattle, for a bit of an upset win over Atlanta, 34-14. They pick up a big win. They get to 4-3. Falcons drop to 4-3. Bills over the Titans, 34-10. That went about as well as I would have thought it was going to go. Bills Titans. Mason Rudolph just That team is just terrible. There's trade rumors going around about DeAndre Hopkins. Not sure what's going on there, but Bills pick up a win. Josh Allen, he hasn't had an interception this year. He's played really well. He's had a couple of games where he was a little erratic, but not turning the ball over. So good for him. You have the Bengals over the Browns, 21-14. Deshaun Watson tears his Achilles. He's out for the season. Holy hell. Cleveland, I don't even know what to say. But they did this. I'm sorry, but they did this to themselves. The Andrew Barry, the owner there, who is just clueless. They did this to themselves, and now it's going to be your Jameis Winston or Dorian Thompson-Beckham. I don't know why Jameis Winston was the emergency quarterback. He's way better DTR, and honestly, even when Watson was healthy, I thought Jameis Winston was better. I don't think he was all that close. Their season's done 1-6 to shame, because they have a talented team. You have a strong offensive line, before they got hurt. Obviously, when you had Amari Cooper, you had a really good set of weapons. You just get Nick Chubb back, who's obviously a top back in the league. We'll see if he's the same player after the injury. You have a great defense, really good head coaching, Kevin Stefanski, but just an absolute just nothing at quarterback. And now you have injuries on the offensive line, and they just traded Amari Cooper away, and obviously now the season's over. 1-6. Watson's second straight year he's had season-ending injury during the first half of the year. And he's done for the year, and so is the Browns. But Bengals pick up a win. They get back to 3-4. Packers over the Texans, 24-22. Game-winning field goal for Brandon McManus, who they just signed. And game-winning field goal for him. That's a big win for the Packers. That defense played really well. They've had concerns on that side of the ball for a few years now. Obviously, you made the coordinator change before the year on Jeff Hafley. Haven't loved that defense, but they went out there and played really well against C.J. Stroud and company. And they pick up a big win. Both teams are now at 5-2. Colts over the Dolphins, 16-10. First of all, why is Anthony Richardson playing? He didn't look that great, at least throwing the ball. He's weird. He can make 99% of throws that 99% of other quarterbacks can't, but he also can't make 99% of throws other quarterbacks can. I don't understand him. Joe Flacco was playing well. I don't know why they took him out. Flacco should be starting, but they're 4-3, and they got to win in Miami. Good Lord. Probably Tua might play next week. I don't think he should. I really don't think he should play at all. He's got way too many concussion issues for my liking, but also, holy hell, Dolphins need a change because they're out 2-4. That offense, even with all those weapons with Taylor Huntley, it just looks dead. The Lions beat the Vikings 31-29. Phenomenal game. Lions were up big. Vikings come all the way back. Take a 1-point lead. Lions late field goal by Jake Bates. Give them a 2-point win. Lions, they might be the best team in the NFC. I think they are. Jared Goff has played really well, especially they have an incredible run game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They have more weapons they know what to do with. That defense is good. Obviously, Luke Hutchinson hurts, especially the pass rush, but they're very tough against the run. Secondary is better. I would like to see them make a move for a pass rusher because they still have a ton of pass rush without Hutchinson. But big win. That's the first loss for the Vikings here. They're 5-1. Both teams are now 5-1. Anthony Murphy is very, very talented. Eagles thrash the Giants 28-3. They should be beating the Giants. Sam Jones looked horrible. He got benched for Drew Lock. He's still a starter. That's obviously because of money. If he didn't have the contract, I don't think he would have been the starter like week 2, to be honest. But Eagles, I guess, honestly, get me right game. Saquon Barkley, obviously, as we all knew what was going to happen in a revenge game against the Giants at MetLife. 176 yards, a touchdown. Big game for him. That Giants offense might be the worst in the league. They are just pathetic. They're at 2-5. Eagles are at 4-2. Rams over the Raiders, 20-15. You know, Rams obviously could get. We thought we were getting Cooper Kupp back. They didn't. Still pull out a win, but Aiden O'Connell gets hurt in the game. Gardner Minshew had a re-enter, and he looked horrible. Had 3 picks, and now Aiden O'Connell's at 4 of 6 weeks with a broken thumb. So Gardner Minshew is back in there as a starter, and the Raiders, they're done. That, good lord, they are just a big. That's big yikes. Apparently, I just read something today that a lot of the Raiders teammates saw Devontae's attitude change when they signed Gardner Minshew. I mean, this dude went from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo to Aiden O'Connell to Gardner Minshew. They just somehow kept getting worse. So yeah, that poor guy. But he's with the Jets now, which isn't much better. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But Raiders 2-5, stick a fork in the season. They are just cooked. The Commanders thrashed the Panthers 40-7. Jane Jones gets hurt very early in that game. A rib injury. X-rays came back pretty good today. Not a fracture. Not sure if he'll play this week, though. Marcus Mariota went out there and played well, though. They're playing really, really well. Holy hell, the Panthers are just dreadful. Andy Dalton did not look good. Bryce Young came in late in that game. They're just horrible. They put Andy Dalton in. They've went from just like you shouldn't be an NFL team to like, all right, they are an NFL team, just a really, really bad one. They went from so obviously the worst team in the league to, all right, maybe you can make an argument that it's the New England Patriots, but like they're still just dreadful. By far the worst in the NFC, probably still the worst in the league. You know, and also they beat the Raiders. Raiders freaking suck. They're not much better than the Panthers. That's who they beat, and they kept it close against the Bengals, who look a little concerned, who aren't as great this year. You know. And since then you've gotten just absolutely dogged every week the last couple of weeks. They are just horrible. That is a horrible organization. David Tepper, as bad as Woody Johnson is with the Jets, as bad as the Browns owner is, forgot his name, not even worth mentioning. He's just horrible. David Tepper might be the worst owner in all of the NFL. I think he is. Holy hell, that guy is just a complete asshole. He has no idea what he's doing. I don't even think he knows how football works, to be honest. Horrible. Commanders win. Commanders 5-2. They're playing very well. I think they're going to win that division. Philly's fraudulent. That defense isn't that good. Dallas is mediocre as it gets in the Giants. They can't score. That's the problem when you can't freaking score. Chiefs over the 49ers, 28-18. They're 6-0. Mahomes did not play well in that game. You know, Purdy wasn't much better. In fact, he's probably even worse, throwing 3 interceptions. Chiefs go to 6-0. Look, Mahomes hasn't played well. Travis Kelce already hasn't showed up. But they're finding ways to win, even without your top back in Isaiah Pacheco, even without a couple of your top receivers. Hollywood Brown's out for the year. Now, Rashee Rice is now out for the year. Even with all these injuries, they're getting it done. That defense is really good, really underrated. Said it last year, I'm going to say it again. That's a really good defense. They have a great offensive line. Now, Kareem Hunt, they brought back off the street, and it's played well. And they've gotten it done. They're 6-0. 3-4. Now, Brandon Ayuk looks like he's out for the year for torn ACL. They just paid him. He hasn't played well. McCaffrey's obviously still out. You know, there's one thing after another for this team, and they look off. Brock Purdy hasn't looked phenomenal overall. You know, Mason's filled in nicely. You know, I mean, to me, Kyle Shanahan, he's got to be on the hot seat at this point. Look how much talent. I know they've had injuries, but Jordan Mason's filled in very nicely for Christian McCaffrey. You've had Debo for all but one game. You have Kittle for all but one game. I just got hurt this game. You know, even I know you lose Javon Hargrave, but you know Nick Bosa's been healthy the whole year, as has Fred Warner and Talanga Hufanga and that whole defense. And the problem is they're getting old. They're getting a little older, and injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. And you know, outside of Trent Williams, the offensive line is not very good, and that secondary outside of Hufanga at safety from All Pro isn't all that great either. So yes, obviously that offense is as talented as it gets in this league. That front seven is as good as it gets in this league, but there are some holes on that team, and they kind of had the same things last year, but they wasn't really exposed like they're really until the Super Bowl, and now we're really starting to get exposed now because they are now 3-4. And the Steelers just absolutely thrashed the Jets 37-15 on Sunday Night Football. Russell Wilson plays very well in his first game of the season, and the Jets are just dreadful. They absolutely suck, and the season is done. Another year down the drain from the Jets. I can't do this with the Jets anymore. Like, they are just horrible. They are just horrible. Aaron Rodgers is absolutely washed. He has nothing left. The guy is just cooked. How you have Brees Hall and Bring Down and you're still struggling to run the ball? I don't understand. Just how many mistakes, Gary Wilson, the perfect pass hits him right in the chest, drops it right into the receiver defensive back's hands, and it's returned down to the goal line. You're leaving guys wide open. You're getting thrashed by a mediocre running back duo in Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Just blowing coverages. The offensive line is terrible. I don't understand. The Devontae Adams trade did nothing. The coaching change, although I didn't like Salah ever, it's not going to help. It's not going to spark this team. This team is cooked. They are done. The only thing I can maybe see them winning, maybe they beat New England. I think they play them next week or the week after. I'm sure I'll do game picks Thursday like I always do. Maybe they get past them again. Though if Drake May, that'll be that they obviously have at least a competent quarterback now in Drake May compared to Jacoby Brissett. Maybe Miami they can beat once, but now if Tua back, if Tua's as long as he doesn't have any injury problems. I don't know if they'll be able to get past the Dolphins now. Maybe you steal again against like Seattle, or something like that. Geno Smith is kind of either he goes out there and goes for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns, or he has 3 picks. So maybe if Geno has an off game, you steal again against Seattle late in the year when it doesn't matter. In fact, you might be better off losing that game for draft position, and we're entering that territory. That's always they can't even freaking lose right. But holy hell, the coaching staff is broken. They're freaking. Rodgers is washed. They can't run the ball. They have not much. They have some fancy playmakers, but it means nothing. And now Son Reddick back. Whoop-de-damn-do. But he's gonna get hurt, right? I wouldn't be surprised. I promise I'm not wishing it. I would never wish injury on anybody. I hope he goes out and balls out for his sake and for the Jets' sake. But the guy's 31. He didn't report to Jets camp the whole offseason, in OTAs, in mini camp, in training camp, in preseason. So he hasn't touched a football field with the team since they traded for him in March or something. He's not going to be that much of a factor. He's really not. I don't see how he is. They can't stop the run. Outside of Sauce, that secondary looks a little weak. I don't see what good thing. And by the way, Willie Johnson. There are some Jets fans out there who think, all right, he's not the bad of an owner. I don't know what they're talking about. Did you see his press conference? He said thinking is overrated. Well, guess what, Woody? I can tell, because you are absolutely clueless. You have no clue what you're doing. Do you even know what football is, dude? That guy sucks. It wasn't for the absolute asshole and arrogant David Tepper in Carolina, and forgot his name again because his name isn't worth mentioning. Just the dog water owner in Cleveland. You would be the worst owner in football and maybe the worst owner in sports because you are just atrocious. You are clueless, and you need to sell the team. As long as Woody Johnson owns the team, it does not matter what the Jets do because they will never prosper. I have tweeted that probably 9 times this year. And it's true. They will never be good as long as this absolute clueless, senile, just garbage bag owns a football team. He is absolutely clueless. Aaron Rodgers is washed. This team sucks. The owner sucks. And Joe Douglas, he has to go. I am tired of looking at his stupid bald head. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of looking at it. He put this crappy-ass team together. At the time, I said, all right, Aaron Rodgers' experiment was worth a try. It didn't work. That's one thing. But at the same time, you gotta have some sort of backup plan. His backup plan was freaking Zach Wilson. The fact that he drafted that guy 2nd overall, are you kidding me? I know that quarterback was just dreadful, but what are you doing? Devontae Adams trying to give up a 3rd, it could become a 2nd. You're paying his whole salary. Just getting that desperate. I don't understand. Look, he's done a few good things. Obviously, in one getting Sauce Gardner, Gary Wilson, Brees Hall, and Jermaine Johnson in one draft, it was very good on his part. And he's had some other small things. The DJ Reed signing was good. That was a good move on his part. But everything else has just been an utter disaster. Zach Wilson was the 2nd pick in the draft. Freaking the Aaron Rodgers experiment. How he handled the Robert Saleh and the coaching staff. Holy hell. Will McDonald, 1st round, though he had 3 sacks the first couple of games. He looked good overall start this year and had a good game last week. Other than that, was invisible last year. Been invisible for probably, I would say, 4 or 7 games this year. The guy came in from the Philadelphia Eagles, said, I gotta fix the offensive line. What on earth have you done to fix the offensive line? You run, Tyron Smith. Cool. The guy's like 50. John Sims doesn't look all that great. Vera Tucker's always hurt. I like the Vashon draft pick. Again, it's a good, I think there will end up being a good mark on his part. But everything else, every other lineman he's brought in, freaking Lakin Thompson was horrible. Greg Van Roten was horrible. Mekhi Becton, the 11th pick in the draft, what a joke. Morgan Moses, the first time he brought him in, wasn't very good. The second time he brought him in, he hasn't looked much better. Oh my God, what a disaster the New York Jets are. And I'm done with that rant. Monday Night Football tonight, doubleheader. We got Baltimore, Tampa, then Chargers against the Arizona Cardinals. All I got for you guys today. We got an NBA preview tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Obviously, I'll talk about Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'll mention that as well. But the most of my NBA preview tomorrow. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.